Radio Grand Lac, 92.1, le grand bain de la vie locale.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Welcome back. Bonjour à tous. Pour ceux qui nous écoutent Radio Grand Lac 92.1 FM, bienvenue à l'émission Your English Weekly, animée par moi-même, Sinead Dupont, professeure d'anglais. L'objectif de cette émission, c'est stimuler la langue anglaise et l'expression anglaise. Chaque semaine, vous découvrez soit un nouvel article ou une histoire inspirée d'un élève, un étudiant du English Workshop ou un ami, comme aujourd'hui. Cette émission est aujourd'hui sponsorisée par Your English Workshop, qui est un centre de formation pour l'apprentissage de l'anglais certifié Calliope. Restez à l'écoute dans les 15 prochaines minutes pour notre expression de la semaine et notre conversation en anglais avec Antonia Ryman, une jeune femme tout le droit d'Australie. La leçon de cette semaine est de niveau C1. Hi and welcome back to Your English Weekly. Today we have a new lesson. This week our lesson is going to be presented by Antonia Ryman, an Australian here in Savoy since late July 2022. Hello, Antonia.
Hi, Sinead.
Antonia, before we start, do you know what the expression means, the apple of my eye?
I believe the apple of my eye is used when talking about someone who completely and utterly has captured your gaze and your heart.
So that brings us to our subject of today, which is going to be St. Valentine's. But before we talk about St. Valentine's Day and the traditional 14th of February, unfortunately, next week I'm not here, so we're going to do that today with Antonia. Antonia, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Good day. Thank you for having me today. I'm Antonia Ryman and I'm originally from Sydney, Australia. I love to cook and can definitely go overboard with it sometimes. In my spare time, you will usually find me drinking tea, painting, or spearfishing. However, with my aim, most of the time, I would label it as just snorkeling.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Antonia. So our auditors, our listeners are going to hear some words today about St. Valentine's Day. So could you give a few of these words to our listeners? We'll start with Christian martyr.
Yeah, absolutely. Martyr is someone who accepts death or their punishment in vow to their belief. And so a Christian martyr is someone who has died for their Christian beliefs.
Okay, so that sounds good. So what is a floral crown?
A floral crown is a ring of flowers that rests on top of one's head.
Okay, outlawed.
To be outlawed is to be declared illegal or not allowed. It can even be an individual. For instance, a famous Australian outlaw was Ned Kelly.
I heard about him before. Bedheaded. What is to be headed? Excuse me, not bedheaded, but beheaded.
To be beheaded is to have one's head removed from their neck.
We often think of the kings and the queens, don't we?
Yeah.
The rear doors. What are the rear doors? I often say back doors, but rear doors too exist.
Yeah, the rear doors are the doors at the anterior of the back, at the anterior or the back of a house.
Yeah, so that's like our British, we'd say back doors, and in Australian you say the rear doors.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Banned. What is banned?
To not be allowed.
Okay. Funneled.
A funnel is an object that eases the transference of, say, a liquid from one container to another. So to funnel, therefore, is to guide as much and efficiently as possible into the desired destination.
Okay. And what is mistranslation?
A mistranslation is where an error has occurred in communication between languages at some point.
Okay. And now the last one we'll do today is figurines.
Figurines are small-scaled replicas, particularly of people or the human body, made from a variety of materials.
Okay, so Antonia, today you're going to tell us the story of St. Valentine's Day. Okay, are you ready to tell us all about that?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to.
Okay, fantastic. Off you go.
So Valentine's Day represents the Christian celebration of love, originating from a feast commemorating a Christian or one or two Christian martyrs. However, most countries worldwide have a day, days, or a week dedicated to the celebration of love, each with its own long and rich history. I will present the story of Saint Valentine and a small overview of other global practices that celebrate love.
Oh, it all sounds very good. So the story of Saint Valentin, what is this?
So this is the story about one or two Christian martyrs who are most notable for Valentine's Day. There were also 14 other Saint Valentines. The two are Valentine of Rome from 296, whose remains with the floral crown are in the Basilica of Rome, and the Valentine of Terni from 273, who was martyred under Emperor Aurelian. This is the first story I learned, and I learned it as a child. This was Claudius II of Rome outlawed the marriage of young men. This was because he believed that single men made better soldiers than men with wives and children. Saint Valentine was a priest or bishop who opposed Claudius II of Rome's outlawing of marriage. And so Saint Valentine secretly married young men to their lovers, going against Claudius II's orders. Upon being discovered for committing these acts against the wishes of Claudius II, Saint Valentine was later beheaded.
We often hear things like that when somebody didn't do what they were told. Okay, I think there's some other stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So other stories such as the Norfolk one believed that Jake Valentine was, although he was feared by children, he was a man who would leave sweets at the rear doors of their houses on the 14th of February, I believe. And he's the saint of good health in St. Slovenia, and the day represents the start of spring and the work for the vineyards. In medieval times, knights would also receive the name of a lady at random and must indebt themselves to her service for that year, also interpreted as being partnered with this lady. In Rome, the pagan celebration of Lupercalia on the 15th of February was a celebration of fertility dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, and Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. In an attempt to Christianize this celebration, the Valentine's Day feast was put on the 14th of February.
And that's where it gets the 14th of February. Wow. So globally now today, because we know a little bit of the history, but how do people celebrate it today globally? For example, I don't know, in America or in Japan or some of these places?
Yeah, absolutely. So globally, this holiday varies greatly, with many countries celebrating their rich history of love, while other countries have even banned the St. Valentine's holiday for various reasons. In the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom, significant sources of revenue are funneled into businesses that sell cards, gifts, chocolates, flowers, and romantic dinners, even with children being allowed to share cards of affections in class. In Japan, however, Valentine's Day was introduced through the Western marketing. However, due to a mistranslation, only the women give chocolates on the 14th of February to all the men in their lives, including co-workers.
Well, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be great that only the women can give chocolate. I think I prefer getting them somehow.
Oh, absolutely.
And then what happens?
And then a month later, the men can return the chocolate of equal or more value on Reply Day. And South Korea has a similar celebration where those who receive no gifts can eat black noodles in a restaurant to reflect on their single lifestyle.
So they eat black noodles to reflect their single lifestyle. Okay.
Yes, it's almost a way of mourning, I think.
I think so too. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so mass ceremonies in the Philippines can also be held for free as a public service on the 14th for the young couples who would like to get married.
Ah.
And in Bulgaria, a glass of wine is shared between lovers on Winemaker's Day. In Ireland, a pilgrimage to a particular church in Dublin can be made to send prayers for love. And the holiday has been restricted or prohibited in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and India for many reasons, including religious, anti-globalization, cultural preservation, and anti-consumerism. In China, the Lovers Festival is celebrated on the 7th day of the 7th month of the lunar calendar. The Brazilian Carnival can usually occur on the 14th of February in Brazil, whereas the Brazilian Lovers' Day is celebrated on June 12th in commemoration of Saint Anthony, the saint of marriage. In Afghanistan, flower arrangements are made for the youth and love is expressed through poetry. A week of sweetness in July is celebrated in Argentina, and in Spain, on the 9th of October, marzipan figures are exchanged, whilst in Finland, the day is for celebrating platonic relationships.
All of that, my goodness. That does sound incredible. And how did we hear then about this story of Cupid? I mean, we always hear of Cupid being the bow and arrow. So tell us about Cupid. Do you know anything about Cupid?
Yes, I believe Cupid came about, the adorable and mischievous bow and arrow wielding cherub we know now, for the miraculous and mysterious events of love. His name originates from Latin, and it means to desire, and he is thought to be the immortal child of a few possible gods, including Zeus or Aphrodite. Initially, he was a man who used golden arrows to invoke feelings of amour, and silver arrows for dislike, and these affected humans and gods alike. Okay.
So tell us now, in Australia, what is the tradition for St. Valentine's Day?
So in Australia on the February the 14th, I guess if you're in a relationship, you would be hopefully asking out your partner to dinner or surprising them with some beautiful flowers. Yes, flowers of the woman's choice, or the men's, and chocolates. And I guess surprising someone with a lovely dinner would also be nice.
And if somebody was single, would they receive cards through the post? Like in Ireland, or when I was young living in Canada, we would send small cards to lots of our classmates to say, "Oh, would you be my Valentine?"
Oh, that's very sweet.
But no, in Australia they don't really have that tradition.
I guess in high school and probably primary school, we used to have little pigeonholes, which are little, everyone has a box in the class, and you might slip a little sneaky note into someone's
box.
Oh, if they've caught your eye, or I guess as you get older, maybe you can, head to maybe a pub or a bar and see if there's any other singles about looking
for someone to match up with.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it sounds all very exciting. Well, anyway, that was a lot of information. Thank you so much, Antonio. It was really nice to hear about all of this. Now, back to our expression of the week, the apple of my eye. And you are right, Antonio. It is the apple of my eye does refer to someone we cherish. And initially, if I'm not mistaken, the word was simply an idiom which referred to the pupil of the eye, the center.
Oh, wow.
So there we are. Anyway, don't hesitate to find us on YouTube. You will also see my Facebook page with the expression of the week. I'm wishing you all a wonderful week, and we are not here next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with another story with somebody from the Philippines. So that should be interesting as well. And I wish you all a wonderful, happy St. Valentine's Day next week. And if you want to join my program, you can always send me a message via LinkedIn. Thanks again, Antonia, for coming and joining me today here on the air.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Okay, and just for reminding, Jessica is here at 1 o'clock with all the new trends in the house, all the new ideas for your house. Then we have at 2:15, Le Jeu de Mouvement avec Joe. Oh, I must listen to that so I get more sporty. And then we've got 1 hour, 1 commune this evening with Grezi sur Aix at what time? I don't remember. 17h. Voilà, at 17h. Bye to you from us at you.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.